This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in places that could expose you to identity theft. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, their US-based restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Streaming now on Peacock. Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie are back.
That's hot. Loves it.
For a show-stopping reunion that will prove putting on an opera is anything but simple.
We're really good at this.
One thing's for sure, they won't be upstaged.
Good to have you back. Come on, we've got a show to do.
Paris and Nicole, The Encore, a 3-part reunion special. Streaming now, only on Peacock.
Check 1, 2. Good to go.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I see the cough button now.
You're like,
All right.
I'll be good now.
Yep, I'll straighten up real quick here. So, come here often?
This is going to be a long podcast. All right.
All righty. I'll start speaking in Spanish. That makes you a little bit more
Do you
comfortable.
speak Spanish?
Un poquito español, señorita.
Are you saying this too because you know my ex is Latino?
Oh, shit. Nope. All right.
Wait, really? There wouldn't be a dig, though. He's not mean right now. Like,
Okay. I'll speak Icelandic with you instead there.
Do you know Icelandic?
Tack Frida.
Shut up. Like, do you know a lot?
No.
Okay.
Not enough. I know how to say good morning.
Okay.
And Tack Fria is thank you very much.
Interesting.
Vatnajökull is glacier.
Oh, that's a good one to know in your industry.
Yeah, I know a few, enough to make me survive a little bit over there.
All right. Well, what is up, everyone? Sarah B here with you. Thanks for listening. And as you know, I have a guest today. I had a really awesome intro plan. Not really, but it was going to sound cool and interesting. But this is even better. I like the ad-libbing. So I'm going to welcome my longtime friend here, who I haven't seen in forever, by the way.
It's been a hot minute.
I remember nothing about you.
I think I had hair back then.
Oh my God. Mike Mezeul.
Woo woo.
What is up, dude?
How you doing, girl?
Good to see you.
Likewise.
I think the last time I saw you was at a music festival. Was it the Wildflower Music Festival? Randomly you were, around shooting.
Yeah, I think
pictures.
Hanson was playing. That's how long ago it was.
I doubt that. I don't know that they've ever had an act that big there.
Right.
But it's been a long time. So how have you been?
I've been good, thank you. Just traveling around and, chasing volcanoes and tornadoes and all that goodness.
Grizzly bears,
lions and tigers and bears,
I feel like I literally am so nervous to be doing this podcast with you now. Everything was so free flowing, and I'm like, I got to get my questions. I don't know why. I've never had a guest on here before.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, it is an honor.
It is true. I've had the ex on from time to time, Voldemort, he who shall not be named.
I like that name.
It's a great one.
Isn't that funny how we all name our exes Voldemort?
Yeah, it actually works really well. It's very fitting. But yeah, you are the first guest, so it's really exciting. And do you know how long I've wanted to reach out to you to ask you to be on here? But I was like, I don't want to bother him, and maybe he won't want to come. I literally had a margarita the other night from Gloria's, a strong one, and then I was like, drunk text. Oh, I didn't say drunk, buzz text.
I was wondering why everything's misspelled.
I commented on your nerd thing. That was it. I was like, perfect opening.
Yeah, slide right into his DMs.
Yeah, I did. I slid hard, and now here we are.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's awesome to be here and get to actually nerd out with you. No pun intended.
Yes. Do you want to tell everyone what you do for a living?
Yeah, so I am a professional photographer. So everybody's kind of giving me the title Extreme Nature and Landscape Photographer because I document a ton of severe weather, also volcanoes, basically everything I could do to give my mother a heart attack. And then I do a lot of landscape work as well. So I teach people all over the world how to shoot landscapes and the Northern Lights and oceans and it's taken me from Antarctica to 200 miles to north of the Arctic Circle, which was there last week. So it's been a heck of a change going from, that to sandals yesterday.
I know. Yeah. Welcome to Texas where it's February and 80 degrees. What?
And I wonder why I'll be sick in 3 days.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's everybody's getting sick here because of it. I just got over it, too. So
yeah, I just came from a place with no trees, no vegetation. And I got back here and I'm like, oh, yeah, those are where allergies are. Yeah. I remember that.
And it's so crazy too. Like 3 years ago here, it was like a blizzard, like in Norway, where you just were basically, you know. So
well, it's funny because I had no idea that blizzard even happened.
Yeah,
when it did happen.
So you weren't even here for that.
I was on top of a volcano in Guatemala with no service.
Oh my god, I remember that. Even like honestly.
Yeah, I left and it was like flurries. I was like, oh, that's cute, and I came back. When I finally got service off the volcano, everybody's like, this is doomsday. And I'm like, what the hell?
Like, what have I missed?
Yeah. And then I saw a picture of like a pipe that had burst in a parking garage of somebody's car just encased in ice. I was like, oh, it's serious.
It was so bad. Like, we were out without power for a week almost. And we had to get plywood from Home Depot because all the wood was gone. We were having to ration it. So it'd be like one block of wood like every hour. And my birds, I was so scared they were going to die. Like, we're all cuddled up. It was so bad.
Well, thank God you watched Bear Grylls when you were a kid. You know, you're like, I can survive off of this plywood now.
Well, I did go on. I survived Bear Grylls, and I did not survive Bear Grylls. I got out in the second round.
Well, hey, that's better than the first round.
That is true. That's exactly what I said. I was like, as long as it's not the first, I'm good.
Yeah, half full.
I think now, though, I could do better. Like, I've really, like, worked on myself, and, like, I wish I could go back and get, like, a second chance.
Yeah, you know what? Just, give nature a few months. Yeah. Maybe we'll get something, maybe not, but,
You're right. You never know.
Yeah. But, yeah, so long story short, I'm a photographer nerd.
Okay.
I shoot everything under the sun.
Your stuff is amazing. And, the stuff I've been most jealous of, and is it newer, is the whale shooting that you've been doing?
So,
well, okay. Photographing whales is better.
Yeah.
He's not murdering whales, people.
No, they're still alive, I promise. Oh, boy. Curveball. No, they're still alive. So, yeah, fun story about that is I have, man, it's always a little embarrassing to tell this, but did you ever have that movie when you grew up, like little kid, Sarah, you're watching TV and you're like, I'm going to watch this every single day. Did you ever have a movie?
Oh, like all the time,
What was your movie?
It varied.
Okay.
I guess Nightmare Before Christmas was one.
Solid.
A lot of times. I don't know. Let's just go with that one.
So yours is way cooler than mine. Mine was Free Willy.
I loved that one too. I used to want to be a marine biologist like my whole life growing up. So.
Me too.
Oh my God.
That is literally, I would tear up every time Michael Jackson came on at the end. And I was like, oh my God. All right. So I loved whales growing up. And I had literally saved up my allowance every week.
Okay.
And donated to Save the Orca Foundation.
That is the sweetest thing I've ever
That was where my, my $6 of allowance, which was a lot back then, would go. And I would get updates on the whales.
Okay.
And then when I went to Iceland for the first time in 2016, I think it was, I was at this little pizza joint, and they had this whole section dedicated to orcas.
Aww.
And it was like, adopt an orca. So here I am, I'm in my early 30s. I'm walking up and I'm like, I'm going to get myself an orca.
Yeah.
And so I adopted an orca named Floppy because his dorsal fin flops over. But I was, at that point, I was just like, you know what? One of these days I'm going to swim with whales.
Yeah.
And I'm going to photograph them. So I had booked a trip down to a little island called Tonga and spent, I think it was 9 days on the water photographing whales and having some moments where, off the record, I had to clear out my goggles because I was crying.
I can't even blame you.
This is beautiful. A little calf would come up and just kind of spin around and, you're 10 feet away from a 3-month-old calf.
That's unbelievable.
So literally, I photograph a lot of different things, including whales. I just don't do babies because they make me want to punch a baby, and it's never a good mix.
Actual human babies?
Yeah, human babies. Yeah, baby animals, absolutely.
I've always been the same way. Do you want to have kids?
Do I want to have kids? I like kids. I like kind of maybe.
Except for when you don't want to punch them in the face.
Yeah, no,
great dad vibes here.
Yeah, I know, right? This is great. And cut. I wouldn't be against kids.
Yeah.
I have a goddaughter.
Okay.
I spoil the heck out of her. Love her to death.
Yeah.
She is so in love with nature, and that just yes, that's
that's a win.
A win right there. I love traveling, and I don't know how a kid would fit into that, but at the same time, I'm not against it.
Right.
I think when it came, how it would come down to me having a kid would not necessarily be like, hey, having one, but maybe adopting. There's so many kids out there that I feel like I would love to adopt a kid down the line and then introduce them to nature,
Yeah, I love that.
So, it's something that, who knows, I'm not against it, but I'm also not like, I need to get out there and have kids.
Yeah.
There are people out there, love my brother and his wife to death. They're like, we need to have kids. I'm like, I don't.
Yeah.
So,
we'd be great together then, because I'm the same way. I'm like, I don't know if I ever want kids, and if I do, I would definitely want to adopt. So there we go.
I mean, there's just so many kids, not to get onto a softer, gentler side, but there's so many kids out there that need homes, and I would much rather, give somebody that chance and be like, hey, you're 8, 9 years old. let me go show you the Northern Lights.
You're like such a good person. It makes me sick, honestly.
Is that my phone or your
No,
phone?
that's mine.
Okay, good.
I was hoping it was yours so I could be like, what an unprofessional. You're
Right.
on a podcast, a guest. No, it's me, the host, that doesn't know
Good
what
job.
she's doing.
You had one job. One job.
Oh, gosh. Anyway, well, that's really cool. And you're, okay, like, so I love whales, too. And literally, like, now it sounds awful because when I grew up, I had all the SeaWorld books, and I was like, I'm going to be an orca trainer. Like, that was my dream.
That's pretty rad.
Like, but then now we know how bad SeaWorld is and all that.
Please don't.
That was a long time ago. But grizzly bears are my other, like, absolute favorite. So your bear photos, like, I'm just like, my God, like, he's living the life I want. Like, I love it. It's so amazing.
Are they unbearably good?
Oh, my.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's been all we have time for.
Yep. We barely got going.
Oh, Jesus.
So, funny that you mentioned grizzly bears, because I have a grizzly bear tattoo.
Oh, my God.
Right here.
That's amazing.
That is actually, to the whales, my favorite animal to photograph.
Stop.
Yeah.
Really?
So, yeah. That's,
Okay.
yeah.
Where did you go to photograph the bears? The bears.
The bears. Where did I go? Canada has a lot of bears.
Okay.
And Glacier National Park up in Wyoming. Yeah. No, sorry, Montana. I know my states, I swear. Yeah, they have a lot of bears to the point where, like, I have accidentally run into bears. And you want to talk about, most unprofessional thing I say right now, but not being able to get a toothpick between your butt cheeks. That running into a grizzly bear on a trail is terrifying.
I could see that. Yeah.
But at the same time, it's kind of cool.
Okay. See, I've seen the whales in the wild. I've never swam with them like you, which is so cool. But I know that I would be the same. If I ever saw a bear in the wild, I would just I'd break down. I would bawl. Like, I swear to God.
Yeah, I mean,
love bears.
it's so cool. I think with like nature, looking at these animals and being like, we're not in a zoo.
Yeah.
And this is how it's supposed to be. They're doing their thing. I have to respect the heck out of them because I'm in their home. But yet you're able to see them actually behave the way they're supposed to behave.
Right.
And, I'm all for, zoos, not necessarily zoos, but like places that rehabilitate animals or take them in and give them a home because of injuries or whatnot.
Right.
I'm not a big fan of zoos, to be honest with you, because we won't go down that rabbit hole. But like seeing them in nature, that's the world,
Absolutely.
And with me, the way, I travel, I try to look at it as like, this is the world. This is like, take the human element out of it, and this is the world. And, when you see wildlife out there, you're like, this is pretty darn cool. Like, this is how it's supposed to be. Went to Antarctica this last year. Yeah. And that was probably the most pure form of seeing this world as it should be without humans messing it up, per se.
That's such a dream. I can't even imagine. That's so cool. Whales and penguins and...
Yeah, I mean, sea leopards and albatross and... Wow. Yeah, more whales than you can imagine. You're like... I mean, I got down there. I was like, I hope I see a whale. And then 65 whales later on the first day, I'm like, no, that's a lot of whales. I really hope I see something else besides whales.
Is that all there is here?
Yeah. Guys, go somewhere else.
So, the journey there, what is it called? Like, the thing you go through that's, supposed
the Drake Passage?
Yeah. How was that?
So, I wish I could say it was horrible.
Okay.
It really wasn't that bad.
Okay. But it's, experience to experience, right? Like, you just have, a good
It's a rite of passage in a way to get to Antarctica.
Literal passage.
Yeah, literal. I have to go back. I'm going back next year.
I have to go back.
Darn, some people I got to go to my cubicle. I'm like, I got to go to Antarctica.
It's amazing.
So I'm going back, and I have to cross the Drake 4 times next year. So I'm sure one of those times I'm going to get rocked, and we'll have a podcast interview, and I'll have a very different answer.
We're going to have to do a podcast after those 4 times, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we had a pretty easy Drake. We were down there one day, and it was funny because I woke up. Thankfully, and suspenseful pause. And I got out of bed. I had to go use the restroom, and I stood up and I just flew across the room and nearly knocked myself out on the wall.
Wow!
And I was like, "What the heck?" And I looked, and the curtains were at a 45 degree.
You were listing?
We had a 55 knot wind off our port side, and we were listing pretty good. And so they have this camera that is on the bow of the ship, and. So I turned it on, and you could just see the horizons like this, and I'm like, oh, my God. And, we didn't get rocked, per se, but that, kind of made you question, I've seen Titanic, and I was like, how much can we tip? And,
is this normal?
Yeah. And then you go out into the hallway and stuff, and you see the staff, and they're like, good morning, and they're, not even phased. And I'm like, okay, this is normal, I think, hopefully, or they get a good poker face.
Yeah. That's true. I know it's like the same thing when you're on a flight or whatever. Like, watch the flight attendants. Is this turbulence bad? We'll know by their faces or how they're reacting. So that's cool. Or they're just good actors. Yeah.
I was gonna say, there's been some sketchy moments I've had on workshops, and my workshops are like, "Is this normal?" I'm like, "Yeah." Right back. I forgot something in my room. I'll go hyperventilate in my room real fast. And come back out.
Now I'll never trust this again.
Yeah, exactly.
Bad theory.
If any of you guys are listening, it's totally fine. I promise.
Oh my god, I have so many questions, and I don't know which direction to go.
Yeah, let's go. We'll just talk them out.
Yeah. So workshops, tell us about your workshops. What that entails. Like, what do you?
So I like to torture people.
Torture.
No, it's kind of cool because believe it or not, a long time ago, I used to be terrified of people. I used to be so shy. Like, to the point where my senior year of high school, I ate lunch in the bathroom.
You were one of those people. I thought that was just in movies.
No, movies were made off of my experiences. So I was so terrified. Like, I had such bad social anxiety.
Okay.
And then when photography started to come about, people were like, hey, you might kind of know what you're doing. You should teach. And I was like, that's funny, because absolutely not.
Right.
And, we all get desperate at times. And I was like, okay, maybe I should make some money and I'll try to teach.
Yeah.
And so I put together a workshop to go shoot the Milky Way at Fort Griffin, which is about 3.5 hours west of Dallas here. Okay. And 10 people signed up. And I remember they got there, and I was like, okay, guys, go shoot sunset, and then we'll get going once it gets dark out. And so it got dark out, and all of a sudden there's 20 eyeballs looking at you, and they're expecting you to do something and
now
teach.
What?
And I'm like, oh my God, I literally was like, I forgot something in the car. Right back. I went to the car, I shut off the light, and hyperventilated in the car. And then I was like, get your stuff together, go out there, and I taught.
Yeah.
And they had a blast. And it was like the snowball effect. They told their friends told their friends.
Yeah.
So now I teach all over the world. And just got back last week. I was 100 miles north of the Arctic Circle in northern Norway. And I was teaching people up there on how to photograph the northern lights and how to photograph landscapes and fjords and all that stuff. And then I go in April to Amsterdam and Belgium to teach out there. So I take people all over the world to show them how to get shots, how to use their cameras, how to see the beauty of the world. And just how to create and get those creative juices flowing.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. It's really rewarding. I've had people as young as 14, as old as 82 on my workshops.
Yeah.
I've had people that have showed up and been like, hey, where do I put the film in the camera? I'm like, by the way, that's digital. You don't have film.
That would be me.
Yeah. So, and then I've had somebody that's actually done covers of Vogue magazine.
Wow.
But they want to learn landscape.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So it's been really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're all a bunch of nerds out there.
Well, so with your trips, do you do the full planning, where they're going to stay, where you guys are going to eat, the full itinerary? Or is it just kind of hey, we're going to shoot, you plan all that, I will show you how the camera works?
No, yeah, so I kind of put it all together.
Okay.
I kind of make
Look
it
at you.
I know, right? Travel agent right here.
Damn, I know.
No, I want it to be an experience.
Yeah.
So all these places that we go to, I know the restaurants, I know the hotels, I know, the light, I know the landscapes. So basically, I like to give people an experience where they can come there and they don't have to think.
Okay.
Besides creatively, there we go. Creatively, so they don't have to worry about where to eat. They don't have to worry about booking their stuff. It's just hey, all you got to do is show up, put all your worries aside, take in the beauty of nature, and let me teach you how to take some photos.
Okay.
So, which is nice.
So if you had to pick one, I don't know if you're allowed to say, but do you prefer your workshops or shooting for National Geographic?
Oh gosh, there's pros and cons to both. It's hard to say. So the workshops are great because I have meet and greets the first day, and I say, hey, if you could walk away with one shot from this trip, what do you want? So people tell me what they want to get. And I love the challenge of saying, let's do it. Let's get it.
Yeah.
So that's fun. It is mentally exhausting at times. Having 5-6 people rely on you 24/7. It's like herding cats at times. I love cats, but yeah, it's a lot of work. But then when you're on assignment too, so if I'm doing stuff for Nat Geo or BBC or whatever, there's a lot of pressure to it because you better get the shot. Yeah. You better get those moments. And, I just got back from Iceland and covering the latest eruption out there. And that was on Nat Geo's credentials.
Yeah.
But I don't think anything's going to run from that because the shots that we were looking for just didn't happen.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of stress. It's cool.
I see.
But
you have to get like that magic moment for it to like to work.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can't always like it just got to happen.
I can't tell the volcano, hey, go this way when it wants to go this way.
I mean, why not really?
I know, right? Seriously, like I wish I had those powers.
Get better.
I can't. Yeah, hey, volcano, listen. So yeah, but it's fun because it keeps you like I love challenges.
Yeah.
So it keeps you going out there, and you know, with the assignment work, it's like okay, you didn't get it this time, go back out there and try to get it again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a hair off this microphone. I keep... I'm like, I'm going to eat this hair at any minute here.
Do you see it?
I think it's gone now. It's either on my shirt or my mouth. We'll find out in a second.
Oh, my God. I didn't know who it would be. Like, nobody even uses that mic.
Yep. No famous last words.
Mystery
This is
hair.
a giant mystery hair. Yeah.
No, that's so cool though, because like we talked about nerding out like to this kind of stuff when we were young. That was like my thing. I was subscribed to Nat Geo, and I got all the magazines with the yellow like trim. Like I was like lived for those, you know. And now I have a friend who works for them. That's like amazing. So.
Yeah, it's cool. It's really cool. Like you know, I had some of my work licensed by them last July when I covered yet again another volcanic eruption.
Yeah.
And when they sent me the story, you know, it was online. I was like screen capturing every part of it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh my gosh,
Hell
like
yeah.
this is so cool. And I'm sending it to my mom, and she's like, "What's that?" I'm like, "That's my work in National Geographic." And she's like, "National what?" And I'm like,
Oh
God,
dear.
come on.
Come on, Mom. Be more excited, please.
Yeah, no, she's proud.
No, yeah.
She's proud.
That's
but
so sweet.
Yeah, so it's really cool to be like, yeah, I have work that if you go to National Geographic's website and you type in my name, it pulls it up. That's pretty surreal.
Unbelievable, honestly.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Not that your head needs a beanie finger.
That head's gonna pop off.
So you do you work for a Nikon as well, or have like a sponsorship with them, or is that in the past? I've
Yeah.
You know, I peruse your sites from time
creeper.
to time. I know, stalker much.
It's okay. I've always wanted a stalker. Yeah, no. So last year I got named a Nikon ambassador, which is like a huge honor. Basically, there are, I believe, 37 ambassadors for Nikon.
Wow.
And I'm one of them. So it's like one of the hardest things to achieve with that company. And I had done work for them for like 6 years and before even getting the ambassadorship. So it's kind of one of those things that it's like Fight Club in a way. You don't ask Nikon how you become an ambassador.
Okay.
They just kind of pull you aside and say, hey, we're going to make you an ambassador.
That's so great. And you freaking made it. That's so cool.
I made it. I couldn't believe it when it actually happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of cool. So now my little headshot's on their webpage, and yeah, it's pretty cool though because there's so many photographers that I have looked up to my entire career. Mm-hmm. Like for example, Joe McNally, who's one of the biggest like photographers in the industry.
Yeah.
I remember seeing his work in National Geographic. Wow. And now my face is kind of close to his on the website.
Look how close we are.
We're almost next door neighbors.
That's unbelievable. And think about like the kids that read Nat Geo, or like I guess look at it online now. Like times have changed, I guess. But and think that like, oh my God, I'm gonna be like him one day. Like
I feel old.
No,
but it's cool.
It's an honor. That's amazing.
It's really cool. And like you know, like I have people that will recognize me out in the field and come up and be like, hey, can we take a picture together? I love your work. And I'm like, I'm just a nerd with a camera, man. But yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And then I think back, like if I would have seen like Joe McNally, I would have done the same thing. So yeah, it's very cool. It's very cool. So yeah, the Nikon thing's been amazing. It's been really, really fun. I've gotten to present for them several times with my work, and I actually just presented in Vegas in early January. And the president of Nikon is sitting in the front row filming with his iPhone. I'm like, God, don't pass out.
No pressure. No pressure.
Yeah. So it's been a really cool experience.
Do people call you Micon?
Michael, oh, I see what you did there. Oh, we're gonna pull out the dad jokes now.
I literally like said that to my mom today. I was like, "What do you think about this joke?" And she was like, "You're gonna ask him that." Like
you've rehearsed dad jokes. I like it.
I had it written down.
I respect that so much because we can get into a dad joke battle right now.
You would win, honestly. Like that was like my one.
That's your one.
Yeah,
all right.
I'm pretty proud of it.
I'll let you have it.
Thank you. Let's just stop there.
Don't want you to lose sleep tonight.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so another question was, I had a good one here, and then my Micon thing threw me off. Damn it. I was gonna. That was one of my other like quirky questions. Okay, so as a professional, amazing photographer, blah blah blah. What kind of phone do you have? Like, do you take pictures? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
what kind of phone?
iPhone, Android.
Flip phone.
Nuh-uh.
Like, what?
I hate that I'm so naive. I totally believe that. Like,
As my phone's laying right
I
here.
would believe that. I mean, honestly, you're so simple, like in a great way. I mean that.
It's one of the old school ones. It's,
Yeah.
you pull out the antenna on it.
No. Okay.
The brick. No, I'm on an iPhone.
Yeah.
What's funny though is like I actually enjoy the challenge of shooting on an iPhone.
Yeah. A lot of people do it and do amazing things
Yeah.
at it. It's kind of crazy.
They've come a long way, and like for me, I like to show, hey, the best camera is the one in your hands.
Mm-hmm.
So I had when I went to college, way back in the day, I took a photojournalism class.
Okay.
And there's a girl in the class who did not like me because I actually was able at that point in time to afford some of the nicest camera gear.
Okay.
So whenever I'd present, she would be like, "Oh, that's because you have yada yada camera gear. That's why you're getting the shots."
I hate that.
I know. Tell me about it. So I asked my professor, I was like, "Hey, can I shoot this next project on my iPhone?" It was like iPhone 3. It's like my 3 megapixel camera. And like,
Of course you did.
And so he
Yeah.
he proved it. So I did a whole story all shot on the iPhone.
Wow.
And when we presented, he called on the girl and was like, "Do you have any, comments on this?" And she was like, "Yeah, it's great, just because once again it's a camera." And so he called me up. He's like, "You wanna talk about the camera you shot this on?" And I pulled out my phone. I was like, "Yeah, I shot everything on the iPhone." Her face was just like,
so amazing. I know, like, I'm the same way. That would have been like the moment I lived for. That's so funny.
But yeah, these cameras are great, and you can really do a lot with them. It's actually kind of scary, but it's also pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Okay, I have 2 directions I want to go in here.
Drum roll.
Okay, I'm going to go this
The
one.
suspense.
And I'm going to preface this by saying I know you have a lot of sponsors, and I know you're probably like, maybe, I don't know if you see some of the stuff I talk about and you're like, oh, I'm scared and, nothing inappropriate. But
Nothing scares me.
we can totally edit this out if you want. Do you remember a college project that you did with me in a barn?
So, I kind of pulled something
You did
aside.
not.
Before I came here, it's not the barn shots, but I came across
Oh,
this
I forgot.
photo.
How could I have forgotten
and
about
this
these?
photo
Oh
right
my
here.
God.
That I was like, this is where my career really started.
I think it is, honestly. You're welcome,
It's
first
like-
of all. You should be interviewing me. I mean,
100%. So let's turn this around. So how does it feel to be the epitome of my career?
honestly, like I'm honored. I will autograph for you and pictures, and I wish you would post a little more about me and give me a little more recognition.
Well, I have to get the snake to sign the release contract.
I don't even know where
because
that snake is anymore.
that snake's probably gone.
But you're right.
So we did a shoot way back in the day. I don't even remember. I should have looked when I pulled those off.
I forgot about those. So yeah, Mike you did headshots for me.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what it was for.
It was at the old, I don't remember what it was for, but it was at the old red barn in Allen that they tore down. And I remember watching them tear that barn down because I love that barn so much.
Yeah.
And standing in the street screaming at them because I was like, why?
Yeah.
But
you used to do like headshots and like this kind of stuff, and now look at you. You like, it's crazy. Like your journey is amazing.
It's pretty wild to look at where it's come from because, really, a lot of people don't know this. The door kind of opened for me with my career with photographing the city of Allen excellent adventure, their Easter egg hunt.
No way.
That was my
God.
very first paid gig.
Aww.
And that was literally like the first paycheck that I ever got making money off of photography was shooting an Easter egg hunt.
Wow.
And then one door opened and another door opened. And I never in my wildest dreams imagined, hey, you're going to be doing volcano work for Nat Geo, or you're going to be traveling down to Antarctica, or you're going to be, in Patagonia. Like, it's just wild to think about.
All starting from an Easter egg hunt.
Easter egg hunt and barn photos, But the funny thing is you stripped off like you're in the NBA warm-ups. You're like, let's go.
Did I really? Because I used to be really shy like you. Like I would in dance team and stuff. I would change behind the doors when all the girls are like ripping their clothes off, and now I'm like completely different. It's so weird how we change, right?
Yeah, I mean, I still play hockey.
Yeah,
and I go into the locker room and I'm just like, whatever. I don't even care anymore. Like,
I guess we didn't even talk about. Like we met through hockey. Right?
Yeah, Americans.
You photographed for them.
Yeah.
I drank a lot and cheered and banged a lot of hockey players. Like those were the moments.
Those were the days.
They were.
Yep.
Oh man, so that's crazy.
It's come a long way.
I love it. So that was another question. So you say, you started, younger, and your first paid gig was the Easter egg hunt. You
No.
used to do headshots for people and whatnot. So if somebody came to you today and they're like, say they're like 40 or 50 and they're like, I want to start getting into photography, like, is that still something they could do? Like, you know what I mean? Is it ever too old to start learning?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
You know, it's very challenging, this industry.
Okay.
So you have to bust your ass.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I literally have trouble, honestly, balancing work life at times.
Yeah.
Because if you're not working your butt off, there's somebody else that's going to come take that gig from you or that opportunity from you.
Right.
So it is definitely possible to learn at any age, and to, you know, for those who want to make a career out of it, 100%. Like, if I listened to everybody that said, no, you can't do this, including my own father, I would be doing a job that I hate right now.
Wow.
But you have to hustle. It is not a job or a career that is going to just come easily.
Okay.
Because there are so many talented people out there. And especially, I was very fortunate to get on the social media platforms early and kind of build up my audience that way.
That makes sense.
And now it's just so saturated that it's very hard to get recognized. But, you know, I'm one of those people that is very stubborn.
Yeah.
And doesn't take no for an answer.
No.
Yeah, what? That doesn't take no for an answer, though. So, like, a lot of these publications that I've worked with in different magazines, I've sent them emails. I've sent them my portfolios over and over and over again and gotten shot down over and over again. And then eventually they get to the point where, like, okay, we maybe do like this photo.
Yeah.
Or we'll run this story. So, yeah, you're never too old to learn, to break into it. You just have to be willing to bust your butt.
Okay.
And not sleep.
Not sleep ever.
Yeah, ever.
No, I love that though, because so many people are like terrified to send stuff or like don't want to bother people, and I'm like totally the same way. But it's like, what's the worst that can happen? They say no, they ignore you, or eventually, if you keep bothering them enough, like you said, they'll give in and see something they missed before. You know.
Well, and they see that persistence.
Yeah.
You know, and because there's so many people that say, "Hey, I want to be a photographer," and they get shot down, and they're like, "Okay, well, that didn't work out.
Yeah.
I'll go do something else."
That's so
you don't have a
sad.
passion that way, right?
Exactly.
You have to be willing to push and push and push and push, and to not take no for an answer, and do it because you love it. Trust me. You saw my car earlier. You were about 20 feet higher than it, but
okay.
Yeah. So you saw the car drive. Like, I'm not pulling up in a Ferrari.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have the nicest clothes. I don't have the fanciest whatever.
You
maybe.
look like a spokesperson for REI. Shut up. You have like the coolest car and clothes.
Yeah.
Don't
Garage
even.
sales. Okay. But yeah, I'm wearing socks right now that have my dog's face on them. Okay,
and
come on.
Adorable.
But yeah, like, it's not one of those careers where you're going to make a ton of money. But my office is the world.
Yeah.
And that is something that I would rather, when my time comes, take that to my grave than a bunch of money.
That's something like money can't buy. Like that's what I strive to do. Not photography, but in life, find that like that passion. You know, everybody thinks it's all about getting the money and getting these like material items, but it's like, I mean, I guess for some it is. It's whatever your passion is. But
you know,
I
you know what's interesting though is when you start visiting other countries, you realize in a way how much we here value money versus other countries value experiences.
Yeah.
And that's changed me a ton. That has really kind of sunk into me like, hey, you need money. Don't get me wrong. But look at these other countries that are extremely happy because they are just taking in experiences versus working their lives away.
It's so true. And like, I don't like want to hate on the U.S., but like, God, where it's like notorious for that here. It's like work is literally life, and it's so sad.
Yeah, and you know, we need it. But at the same time, you have to have a balance of it, and you also have to remember what life's about. And you know, one of the things that sticks with me quite a bit is when I teach workshops, I have a lot of people that are retired, and there's a very common sentence that comes up. Can you guess what it is?
This episode is brought to you by Skinny Pop Popcorn. Perfectly popped, endlessly delicious. Oh, so light and crunchy. Skinny Pop Original Popcorn is the snack you've been searching for. Made with just 3 simple ingredients: popcorn kernels, sunflower oil, and salt. Snacking never felt or tasted so good. Perfectly popped, endlessly delicious. Give yourself permission to snack and pick up Skinny Pop Original Popcorn today.
I wish I would have done this.
Exactly.
Is it really?
100%.
Oh my God, I'm amazing.
Yeah.
We didn't even rehearse this,
I didn't even write it down for her to read, guys. But really, that is, I wish I would have done this sooner.
Just having regrets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of something that sticks with me.
I feel like I needed to hear that right now. Like, we talked before this. My mind has been like really scrambled lately with personal stuff, and
Drama.
I've been trying not to like make any big decisions because my brain is just so scrambled right now. But like, I've just been so set on like, I need something to make more money. I need like to live. I'm so fearful, but like, I don't know. It's good to hear that and you know, remind myself of you're just doing
Stay
what you
grounded.
love. Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so serious talk, serious question.
All right, here we go.
No, I'm serious because like I see your travels and they like I live through like your social media. It's amazing, which we'll put it out here in a second, so you guys can go follow him and stalk him like I do. You'll have some new stalkers. But so okay, say I got a camera and say I wanted to do one of your workshops, and obviously this is not to like get into photography. I don't want to like take your job, which I totally would.
Thanks for your honesty.
Just for fun and just to get out there and see the world, and like obviously hang out with you is so fun. So would I be able to like keep up, or would I be like a total burden starting from scratch? Is there, if, like a new beginner person, would you recommend doing some other classes before joining one of your workshops? Do you have beginner, expert, intermediate? Like, how does that work?
So no, they're all kind of like all levels welcome.
Okay.
This wasn't recorded, but you and I talked earlier how I've had people show up literally with the box and the camera's on the box, you know, like how do I put the lens on?
Yeah.
And then I've had people that have shot covers of, Vogue magazine and they know their stuff, but they don't know how to shoot landscape. So we all start somewhere.
Okay.
So yeah, anybody's welcome. I have a very high level of patience, but no, it's all about learning. Yeah. And that's what these workshops are for. It doesn't matter if you are just learning how to turn the camera on or your experience with it. You're here to learn. So yeah, there's no like, hey, you have to have these requirements or know this. We all start somewhere, and so the only way to learn is to do something.
Okay. Well, I'm dead serious. I'm not doing this just to be nice and promote your stuff. I mean, that too, but also this is for me. I'm serious. Like I need to get away, and I want to start traveling more. And I just think that would be such a cool experience. And I would love to learn more about photography for my own trips later on in life too. It'd be awesome. And then hanging out with you would be so fun. So I'm not joking.
Yeah.
I'm going to like hit you up more about this. And
I'm
really,
gonna hold you to it.
Yeah, I really want to do this.
Or else a kitten poster is going to show up at your front door.
Oh, Jesus. We're not going to talk about that.
But the cool things about the workshops too is I was just telling one of the participants last week about this because we were wrapping up and having our last little sunrise.
Yeah.
It's really cool because everybody comes into the workshops as strangers. They don't really know each other. Some people do from previous workshops, but they come in and they are complete strangers and they leave as a family. And everybody there just is there for the love of photography. Yeah. It doesn't matter your political views. It doesn't matter your religious views or your relationships, whatever. You're there for photography. And I have a strict no like political, religion talk on my workshops because we are there for photography. And everybody just has a good time and you make your friends and it's just cool because, like I said, we come in as strangers and leave as a family. Yeah. So, yeah, you're there with like-minded people. That's really cool. I think that's so important in, like, everything. If you keep religion and politics out, it's usually, like, good. And people can see, hey, look, we have more in common than this stuff that really doesn't matter in the end. Like, exactly. So. And if it does come up at times, I'll be, like, the dad in the group, and I'll turn around to the kids, like, I will turn this car right around if we don't end this talk. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Well, that's awesome. Yeah. I feel like we've covered everything. I probably have more questions, but it's been so fun catching up and just hearing your story, and I'm glad that I finally had some tequila and reached out. Yeah, you finally dropped into the DMs, and here we are. Yeah. So what's your next trip out? So I am probably heading back. It's actually really confusing right now. I have 2 plane tickets booked for pretty much the same dates. One to Guatemala, and then one to Iceland. So both volcanoes are about to erupt. Well, actually, the one in Guatemala has been continuously erupting. But the one in Iceland is the one I've been working on the story on for the past 3 years. Yeah. So I'm hoping to go to Iceland. But who knows? So I'll be on a volcano somewhere within the next 2 weeks. I'll be on a volcano somewhere. Yeah, no big deal. That's so amazing. Well, everyone out there, you guys all need to follow him. His work is just, it's so brilliant. I could watch your videos all day. They're mesmerizing. Like, it's amazing. So do you want to give your social media where people can follow you? Yeah, for sure. So Instagram, it's at Mike Mez Photo, all spelt properly. Mike M-E-Z, there you go, photo. And then my website is mikemezphotography.com. Okay, and for your workshops, you can get them on your website as well? Yes. Cool. Yep. Okay. Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on today.
Thank you, ma'am.
This was super fun. It was kind of weird. I told you I would get shy, and I feel like I did. I feel like I got
not get shy.
I feel like I got a little shy because our talk before this was like a lot more like crazy. And
you can take the blanket off your head now.
I also am like, I have to be kind of professional because he's like a big deal and like
I'm not a big
super
deal.
famous now.
Not famous.
You have 1 million followers.
Nerd with a camera.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and I can't wait to have you on again after the 4 Drake passages.
Exactly.
To hear your updated answer.
Appreciate it.
Bye, you guys.